So I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. So I am eliminating this and claiming what is that left over is I am. So in the process of, if I just follow, say, who am I, inquire who am I am not this, I am not this body, I am not this world, which is easy to say, I am not the chair, table, everything, and I am not the body, mind and intellect. It is more difficult because when I am associating myself intensely with the body, mind, intellect, even if I can reject the body, mind, intellect, the process of who am I inquiring and the one who is trying to eliminate essentially involves the brain only, which involves intellect only. So it's not going beyond intellect, it is by the process of elimination is also being done by the buddhi only. I cannot do who am I inquiry, I am not this, I am not this in the deep sleep state. I have to be awake. That means the buddhi has to be there. So buddhi is saying that I am not the buddhi. Who is saying that? Buddhi has to be there to say that I am not buddhi also. So therefore, the elimination has to be understood properly. It is essentially using the buddhi. I have to say I am not the buddhi, but because of buddhi is working also, and I am able to eliminate the buddhi because of that working buddhi. So that has to be understood very clearly because it's a subtle entity. It is looking at my hand, as we said, looking at the hand. It says it's not the hand, but you have to look at the hand to see it is the light because of which the hand is reflected. So that has to be understood. So it's like a moon saying that the reflection, the luminosity of the moon has to recognize the luminosity is not because of the moon, but because of the sunlight only. So sunlight that is falling on the moon is getting reflected. This notion that I am self-illuminating entity or self-luminous entity has occurred in the moon, and the moon has to sit and eliminate. I am not this, I am not this, the light is not this, I am not the shape of the moon, I am not even the hills and valleys of the moon, I am only that because of which the reflection is occurring. Because when I say I am a conscious entity, I am a luminous entity, luminosity doesn't belong to any of the moon properties but comes from the sunlight only. Without the moon, the reflection cannot be recognized. It may be there. Without my hand, the light that is there where the hand was cannot be recognized. The hand doesn't bring the light into picture. Hand is only inert, non-luminous entity. But yet, you are able to see the hand only because the light falling on it is getting reflected. So I had to use now the hand itself to know that I am not the hand, because the light of I am conscious entity or I am a luminous entity, I am reflecting entity, but the reflection comes, reflecting light is not belong to me, it belongs to the totality. So that has to be recognized because the ignorance rests in the buddhi only. So the locus of inducial ignorance is in the buddhi, and the buddhi has to gain study. So advice is it has to go to a teacher. So teacher involves a learning process. It is vritti jnanam, because ajnanam is also vritti ajnanam. Vritti means a thought process. How do you know ajnanam is a vritti process? Because I know that I don't know. So how do I know that I don't know? It's like say, do you know Ashoka? Says, I don't know. So how do you know that you don't know Ashoka? That I know. I know that I don't know Ashoka. That means I have a knowledge of the ignorance. So since I don't have the knowledge of the ignorance of what is Ashoka, tat vijnanartham, for learning that, go and read Indian history. Then you will learn. Proper study itself requires, and then you will learn who is Ashoka. By whom? By the buddhi only. So the knowledge has to occur. The vritti, the thought process that I don't know is only with the buddhi, and it is advised to the buddhi only. Go to a teacher and learn, because learning is also a process. Knowledge is also a process, and the process involves shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nidhidhyasitavyaha. Listening to the scripture. How long I should listen? Listen for a length of time until the knowledge is crystal clear. Some people have, depending upon how much of wrong notions I have to remove one by one by right understanding. So a lot of doubts do come into picture, because what is being taught is not essentially, is opposite to the perceptions and so on. What I cannot see seems to be real. What I see doesn't seem to be real. So it is completely ulta sida. Therefore, the mind is not ready to accept the teaching of the Vedanta. For that only, the mind has to be prepared. Even a prepared mind has several doubts, because the misconceptions of the truth also come from not only from my own notions, but input notions from everybody else. No, this is the truth. No, that's not the truth. So the every darshanika, the darshana or the teaching or a philosophy is providing its own value of that, and some of them follow even Vedanta also, and each pointing out a different as the moksha and the nature of the self. One person says it is anupramana, it is of the nature of very tiny, it's smaller than the smallest, that one can split like a splitting of the hair, and that small is the soul. And at the same time, it is sarvagataha, it is pervades the whole body itself. So you have contradictory, it's so small but it pervades. It's like all pervading Lord is only in Vaikuntha. So there is a logical contradictions are there, and this is accepted as a part of one of the philosophies also. Whereas the other philosophies, it is inside smaller than smaller, and bigger than the bigger, because it is infinite. So infinite cannot be any small, big and all that. So essentially, that which is infinite is the self, and that nature of that is yourself. So how can I be infinite self? I don't see anything here. He says, what I see is only the body, mind, intellect, and my transactions with the world. How can I be intellect? So doubts are very deeper. Therefore, one has to do srotavyaha for a prolonged length of time until the knowledge becomes completely convinced. Mantavya. So you have to reflect on the teaching so that there are no more doubts about it. So mananam involves all types of doubts are clearing out, and then I have to still do Nidhidhyasana, contemplating on the teaching itself. So we have done the meditation slokas and the teaching itself. Now we go into the Nidhidhyasana. Who has to do Nidhidhyasana? That is contemplation on the teaching now. It is called Nidhidhyasana is defined as meditation, and people claim that I have learned already Vedanta, now I want to sit and meditate. So meditation itself is not a new knowledge. Meditation is on the knowledge that is already gained, has to be assimilated. This we go into more details in the next few talks. So we are now going to cover about the Nidhidhyasana aspect of it. We have done Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha. Now the scripture is going to take us about the Nidhidhyasana. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.